Lisa, how does a school start with a lockdown policy and plan? Can you give a few key pointers to help schools that don't have a clue on lockdown, and where do they start?
Okay, so firstly, this will be very high level. So don't take this away and think you've got an effective lockdown plan in place. But for a school that firstly either wants to review their existing plan or is starting from complete scratch, I always advise my schools, my clients, to think through 3 scenarios. I find it really helpful. So 3 scenarios, which I'm going to talk you through, and then I would start with 3 key questions for each of those scenarios. Sit down, workshop it, brainstorm it, whatever language you want to use. But this is what I would do. So I'm talking about a threat in each of these scenarios, and we need to think worst case scenario. So armed threat, wanting to do harm in your school. Scenario 1, the threat is outside of the school gates. Scenario 2, the threat is on the school grounds. Scenario 3, the threat is within the school building. So 3 different potential graduated responses that you need to think through, and ask these 3 questions for each of those scenarios. So 1, how would you as a school alert your entire school community of each of those threats? Do you have the infrastructure? How would you do it, and would it be effective? Question number 2, for each of those scenarios, how would you secure 1, your site in scenario 1, 2, your building in scenario 2, 3, your rooms potentially in scenario 3? Can you lock your doors? Can you cover your windows? All of these things that you need to think through, are there safe places in that room? So that would start the conversation about where would the safest places be in that school, and how you would make sure that your community is safe. Question 3, for all 3, do you currently have the infrastructure to safely communicate during that lockdown? That lockdown could be minutes, but it could be hours. The threat could change. Are you as a school able to safely communicate between your members of staff to ensure that during that lockdown, everybody's safe, and equally, they know when it's safe for the lockdown to end? So there would be the 3 key scenarios, 3 key questions, but under each of those questions, there's lots of other questions to work through. But I think that would be a really good starting point for schools that have never thought about this before, but they must think about it as not a stray dog, but somebody with a weapon that wants to cause harm.